Okay, we are streaming. Shannon, you can put us on, please.
Good.
All right, this is the matter of Lucas Franstead. Mr. Kelly is LGAL. Mr. Brown represents the mother. Mr. Hotchkiss represents the father. The father, Mr. Shaw, is present, along with the worker, Jacqueline Geyer. Ms. Tucker for the petitioner. So in our off-the-record conversation, we don't have confirmation yet that the affidavit of paternity was accepted for filing. Do you have any updated information on that, Ms. Geyer?
I do not, Your Honor.
I can't really take a plea until that's confirmed. We do have a tentative trial date identified for May 25th at 1 p.m. Why don't we just keep that on with the hope that we will have an affidavit of parentage confirmation by then, and then we can go forward and get a plea. My understanding is Dad is already voluntarily engaging in services.
Yes, sir.
So let's do that. Let's keep the trial date May 25th at 1 p.m. With the understanding that obviously if we don't have a confirmed affidavit of paternity, the trial won't be able to proceed. But if we do have one, then Mr. Hotchkiss, my understanding is your client will be entering a no contest plea?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, let's see where we are then. Anything else the court needs to deal with today?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, let me get this order signed and then we'll move on to the next one. Mr. Shaw, you're free to leave.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
You too.
Next up, the Lewis miners. And let's see. Got a couple workers here. Let me let them in. There's Miss Peters. And there's Watson. And let me see what I got for parents. Jonathan Lewis, I'll let him in. And mother's name is Densmore, is that correct? There she is.
Yes, Your Honor. Dakota Densmore.
Okay, looks like everyone's here. I just noticed that Rebecca had a login. Okay. All right. So this is the matter of the Lewis miners. Ms. Tucker for the petitioner. Mr. Brown is LGAL. Mr. Kelly represents the mother. Ms. McCluskey represents the father, and both the mother and father are also present, although we don't have a connection yet with Mr. Lewis. And for the agency, Nicole Peters and Shauna Watson. Mr. Lewis, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can.
All right, looks like we've got everybody here. We had an off-the-record conversation. Last time we had a pretrial, we were waiting for defense expert Dr. Gurton to get the medical records and review them. Apparently those records have been transmitted, but we haven't heard back from him yet. I'm going to go ahead and set a trial date. If there's an issue with his readiness to testify, just get a hold of us informally and we will address it. If adjournment is needed, I'll certainly accommodate that. But for now, let's get trial date June 15th at 1:15. Anything else the court needs to address on the record in this file today?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Parents, you are free to leave.
Okay, thank you.
And next up, Cavender minors. And let's see. I see Mr. Chris Davis is here. Mr. Cavender's here. I will let him in. And there's the mother, okay. All right, looks like everyone's here. Mr. Cavender, can you hear me? Oh, doesn't look like it. Ms. Smock, can you hear me?
Yes.
Mr. Cavender, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, looks like we have everyone here. Ms. Tucker represents the petitioner, Mr. Kelly's LGAL. Father's represented, sorry, by Rebecca. And let's see, Mr. Chris Davis on behalf of the agency, and both parents are present. And I know we just talked about this about 10 minutes ago, but I don't remember the conversation. I forgot to write something down.
Oh, Your Honor, I was just saying, I've tried to call my client, and as long as his number hasn't changed, there's no voicemail box set up, so I can't leave a message. So I just need to make sure he's got my number and gets in contact with me, or lets the agency or myself know if his number's changed.
So, Mr. Did you? That's what you were. You wanted an opportunity to talk to him.
Or yeah,
did
actually,
you-
Your Honor, if you don't, I can go into a waiting room, or I'm sorry,
Let's
a breakout room.
let's try that. Are you on the Goodless-Wineland matter?
No, I am not.
All right. Well, good. Let's. Let me put you, Mr. Cavender. I'm going to put you and your attorney into a breakout room so that you can have a private conversation. Just follow the instructions on your screen. All right, you should be getting a command on the screen. Just click on it, and then when you're done, just come back in, then I'll know you're done. Okay, looks like they both made it into the breakout room. Let me move on then to the Goodless-Wineland matter. Let me get everyone in here. I see Ms. Smedley. I see a Joshua Wineland. Is that the right? It's got to be. And we had another dad, but I don't see him here. And let me see if the mother's present. Possibly they're together. Looks like they are. Mr. and Mrs. Wineland, can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
All right, we can now. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry about
Okay.
that. First time using
No
Zoom.
problem. I'm not sure who all is on this file. Obviously, Ms. Tucker, Mr. Hotchkiss is LGAL. I don't know if we had attorneys appointed for the parents or not. Doesn't
No.
look like it. So Ms. Tucker represents the agency. Ms. Christine Smedley is here on behalf of the agency. And Ms. Tucker, you were going to make a motion?
Yes, Your Honor. It's my understanding in speaking to the caseworker that the conditions that brought this family to the attention of DHHS have been rectified. And so with that in mind, we would make a motion to withdraw the petition and ask that the case be dismissed.
Are there any objections to dismissal of the petition?
No, Your Honor. Objections.
Wonderful. Mr. and Mrs. Wineland, I'm going to dismiss the petition today.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You as well, Your Honor.
So while we're waiting on, excuse me, Ms. McCluskey and Mr. Cavender, I've got a Hillsdale case, but unfortunately, I don't know who all is here on that case.
Excuse me, Your Honor, are we supposed to hang up now, or are we still
Oh,
on?
yes, you're free. You're free to leave, ma'am.
Okay, well, thank you. Have a great day.
You too. So I don't think I've got anybody here on this case. We didn't get a report, did we, Shannon? Not quite sure what happened. Shannon, do we have this file in your office?
It's just a big copy of it.
Can you get it? Yeah, I know, because the original's in Hillsdale. I just want to see if there's some other names in there so I know who to. I don't think anybody's here on this matter. Just for the record, it's the matter of Jack and Nathaniel Shealy.
And here's all my proof of service showing that I sent everything out.
Yeah, well, good, that'll help because it'll have the names on it. Oops. All right, here we go. There's no one here on this one. Shannon, we'll have to follow up with them and find out why there's nobody here. Okay, let's, excuse me, while we're waiting on Ms. McCluskey, let's move on to the matter of Cameron Bliss. Looks like Deborah Hines for the agency. Well, I don't see her name.
She was not going to be here. She's got someone covering for her.
Do you know who that is?
I don't.
Oh, she told me. Is there a Nick maybe?
Pankowski.
That sounds right.
Yes, that's who it is.
Okay.
And my client should be there just by phone. Mr. Barnett. It'll say maybe, and his phone number is 414-1309 if you just have a phone number.
I'm guessing, I think that's the one that no, I don't see him, Susan.
Okay.
I've got a couple first names in here, and if he's using someone else's device.
Sure. David or Alan would be.
Here's an Alan. Let me try
Yeah,
that.
he goes by Alan.
Oh,
And Ms.
okay.
Ostrander was I think the other one on this case that you renamed. Yes.
Okay, let me make sure I've got a connection. Well, I don't. We're waiting on. There we go. Mr. Barnett, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, I can.
Okay. All right, and Ms. Ostrander?
Yes.
Okay, so we're ready to move forward then on the matter of Cameron Bliss. Ms. Tucker represents the petitioner. Mr. Kelly's LGAL. Ms. Denke represents the father, and both the father and the mother are also present. And Mr. Pankowski on behalf of the agency.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, how is Cameron doing?
Your Honor, each time I called the number I have for placement, getting a busy signal, and I called a number of times at various times. I don't know if the phone is disconnected or if there's a different or updated number that they have. But I had success last time in speaking to placement at that number. Nevertheless, I have reviewed the report and I have no objection to the recommendations. Thank you.
Isn't Cameron with the mother?
Grandmother. Well,
Grandmother, Ms. Barnett.
he's technically placed with the mother, but I believe is staying with the grandmother.
Right.
I see. So she's directed placement or made arrangements for placement. Okay. Mr. Pankowski, do you have any updates or amendments to the report that was filed?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Danke, what is your position on the recommendations?
Judge, this is the situation, I don't know if the court recalls from the last hearing, where we have a psychological evaluation that is very concerning, and then all of the people who are actually hands-on are reporting positive things. I did send to Peter the letter from the child's therapist, Ms. Utter, to make sure that got added to your file, because she had sent that in separately from the report after the report had been submitted. I shared that with the other attorneys, and CPS had gotten the letter as well directly from Ms. Utter. Does the court have that?
I do.
Okay, good. And her report indicates that we need to be moving to unsupervised visits and overnights with dad, that the bond and the relationship between Cameron and Mr. Barnett is very positive. Mr. Barnett's completed his in-home program. He's continuing in therapy. He's doing everything that he needs to do. The psychological evaluation made references to, well, a lot of people who test this way have these issues or those issues, none of which have been raised in this case. So we're asking that the court order unsupervised visits and overnights and follow the recommendations of Cameron's therapist. There is a trauma assessment scheduled to begin, I believe, this weekend. But unfortunately, in talking to Ms. Hines, she says sometimes those reports take to a month to get anything back. But Cameron's struggling in his current placement. I know his grandmother is struggling as well. But on the other hand, he can't go back to his mom. It looks like placing him, working toward placing him back with his father is going to be the best thing for him. And dad's been doing everything that he can do to make that happen. I think some of the problems with the psychological evaluation is that my client is very wary, very suspicious of CPS and the system. And although I think, unfortunately, just as Ms. Hines is leaving DHS, they finally had gotten to the point where they had a good working relationship. And I think he was very resistant to talking on the phone to somebody. She was rushed, and he's got some anxiety issues and some comprehension issues that really made it difficult for him to process the questions and participate in that setting in the way that it was designed. So I think you've got some kind of false readings in terms of some of the testing there. It's certainly not borne out by what everyone else who's had hands-on contact with Cameron and Mr. Barnett is saying.
So, Mr. Pankowski, what's the agency's position on the child's therapist's recommendation that visits begin with dad, including overnights?
Your Honor, at this time, the department requests that we conduct the trauma assessment first and then get those results back as quick as possible from Dr. Henry, whether it be verbal or a written report. And then from there, we would have a group meeting to further discuss what's best for Cameron.
I would absolutely hope that regardless of what I ordered today, that Dr. Henry speak with, or someone from his office speak with Ms. Utter. I've had situation in the past where the therapist and the trauma assessment center were not speaking, and I got conflicting recommendations out of them. I obviously put a lot of stock in what the child's therapist is saying. I don't want to end up in that situation again. And I'm sorry, Mr. Kelly, what's your position on Cameron's therapist's recommendation?
I think that the child trauma assessment would be beneficial, Your Honor. Just his behaviors and how different they are from one household to another, and the statements he most recently made, like there was reference in the court report saying I did not learn it from my dad. Well, where did you learn it from? So I think we need to find that out. And I think the child trauma assessment will assist us greatly in what's going on with him. He's at an age where that would be beneficial information in terms of assisting that child healing and moving forward for whatever traumas he may have been exposed to. So I would support that recommendation.
How much parenting time is Dad currently getting?
His parenting time is supervised, but I think is fairly extensive because they've widened who can supervise that parenting time.
All right. Obviously, Cameron's dealing with a lot of issues, but being separated from his dad seems to be part of what's creating his issues.
Absolutely, I agree.
I do want to give the Trauma Assessment Center an opportunity, but I want it to be done as expeditiously as possible. I want to make sure that there's communication between the Trauma Assessment Center and Ms. Utter. And I will grant discretion in my order today for overnight visits with Dad. Obviously, if there's some negative report, negative as to resuming unsupervised overnight visits with Dad from the trauma assessment, you need to take that into account. If that happens, I would want to grant an early review so that I can hear from everyone involved. So just let us know. But assuming the Trauma Assessment Center believes it's in Cameron's best interest to resume visits with Dad, I want that to happen. And continued as much parenting time as Dad can get, because clearly Cameron wants to be with his dad, and that could be creating part of the problem here. So that's what I'm going to order. We will set our normal 3-month review, but again, once we get the trauma assessment report, if there's disagreement as to what's best for Cameron as a result of that, I want it rescheduled for a hearing. Just let Shannon know. We'll get you on the docket as soon as possible. It's always tough when we have children separated from a parent to know what's creating greater harm, the separation from the parent, or whatever the conditions were that led to that separation. And this looks like it's definitely one of those cases where we could be doing more harm than we're doing good. So I want to get to the bottom of this just as quickly as possible. So our standard review hearing date will be August 3rd at 8:45 with the understanding that we can advance that as soon as we have direction. I mean, if there's no conflict, if Trauma Assessment Center's in agreement that visits need to start, you don't need to come back for that. I'm giving that discretion so that can start. But if there's conflict over that, then just get a hold of Shannon. We'll get you on the docket and I'll address it.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll have my client, have Cameron reach out to Mr. Kelly so that they can connect.
Thank you, Ms. Danke.
Mr. Barnett, we're all set. You can go ahead and log off.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, and I think we're ready to go back on Cavender. And I think we lost, oh, there she is. Ms. McCluskey, did you have an opportunity to speak with your client?
I did gotten to a hold of him previously. He'd just like a little more time to process everything I just threw at him. It's likely we will be entering a no contest plea, but if we could just keep the trial date on, that would be great.
Okay, that's May 18th at 1 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and now I've got a post-term, excuse me, for Axel Lovett. And let's see, I see a few folks here for this one. All right, looks like we've got connections with everyone. This is a post-term hearing for Axel Lovett. Mr. Brown is LGAL. We have Ms. Heidi Nesberg on behalf of the tribe. And let's see. We have Cheryl Lovett and Kevin Lovett and Sherry Hunt. I think that's everyone on this file. Ms. Hunt, can you hear me? I was afraid of that. I had her in twice. Looks like she's having some technical difficulties this morning. Does anyone happen to have her phone number? Maybe I can get her on the telephone. Oh, I've got it. Never mind. Let me try that. Oh, wait, there she is. All right, Ms. Hunt, you can just nod if you can hear me.
Morning.
I had to mute because we were getting some awful feedback. I think he's got two devices on is the problem. I'm going to remove the second device. All right, now you can unmute. We should be okay now. Okay, so Mr. Brown, how is Axel doing?
As usual, he's doing very well placed with his paternal grandparents. He's been there. Actually, Axel has, for the courts, Axel has been with his grandparents essentially since birth. He continues to reside there. He's doing very well. I have no concerns whatsoever about his placement. I do not see that an adoption worker has been assigned, as I have not received a report nor communication from an adoption worker. That's a little concerning that we're a month out and we don't have an adoption worker yet. Other than that, I have no concerns. Thank you.
Yeah, and I noticed there was no adoption worker. The agency's been identified. Maybe there's been an update, Ms. Hunt. Do you know if an adoption worker has been assigned yet? Ms. Hunt, we can't hear you. You need to unmute your device. That sounds like it could be Axel.
It is. He's being very good.
There we go, Ms. Hunt.
I apologize. I'm having some technical difficulties here. At this time, no, an adoption worker has not been signed. It has been sent over to the agency for a worker to be assigned.
Could you please follow up with that today and find out what the holdup is? So
Absolutely.
We can move things along. Thank you very much.
And just one other thing, Judge, on the face sheet of the report, it indicates the anticipated next placement is the parental home. I think that's probably a typo.
That is definitely not the next placement.
Yes, that is a typo. I apologize.
So, Ms. Nesberg, is the tribe satisfied that we are moving in the right direction on this file.
Yes, Your Honor, just to update the parties, the next step for the tribe would be once the adoption assessment is completed, the adoption home study, then the tribe reviews that and makes their recommendation on that as well.
All right. I will implement the recommendations. We will set our next post-term review hearing for August 3rd at 9 a.m. Hopefully, by then we will have whatever needs to be reviewed by the tribe, hopefully well before then. And we will be able to advance this matter. It certainly makes sense that the very home that Axel's been in most of his life would be the home where he will be adopted. And that's what I fully expect to happen. Anything else the court needs to address on the record today?
No, Judge.
I don't have anything at this time.
Thank you. So next review hearing will be August 3rd at 9 a.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, and this looks like we're down to ed neglects at this point. First one is Zaire, and Serenity Haze. Good morning, Ms. Williams.
Morning.
Okay, and this looks like we're down to ed neglects at this point. I don't have any parents logged in. I've got a report from Ms. Richardson indicating that she has made multiple attempts to contact both parents with no success, no responses. Do we have any kind of update on their school attendance?
Your Honor, if you could let Cassandra McGinnon, I think she's in the waiting room. She was the petitioner for both of these cases today.
All right. I've got a Cassandra.
Yeah, she can give an update on the Haze.
And just for your memory, Judge, this is the case where the children stayed with an aunt part of the time. The parents or the mom they've just totally disappeared, which is quite concerning, I'm sure, to everyone.
Cassandra, do you want to speak to their housing situation and any updates you have about their schooling?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So I had spoke with Mom right after our last hearing last time, and she said that she is actually now living in a homeless shelter with the children in Charlotte, Michigan. She stated that she was working with their social workers there to get the kids enrolled. However, she was having difficulty because she doesn't have their birth certificates or anything of that sort. But she said that she was working with them there in Charlotte.
So she's now in Eaton County.
Correct.
Did she indicate that she was planning to relocate to that area?
Yes. Yes. She was working on getting the children enrolled in that school there as well.
But if she's living in a shelter, obviously that's a very temporary situation. Are there any other concerns for the well-being of these children?
Not that I had when I spoke to her. But I spoke to her mostly regarding the educational piece, and she said that the shelter had a social worker working with her for finding housing and employment.
So what is your pleasure in moving forward with this petition? If she truly is living in a different county now, certainly it would be good to follow up and make sure that indeed she does get the children enrolled in the new county. But if she's living there now, my ability at that point to affect any change in the circumstance is going to be quite limited.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the recommendation of leaving it open to follow up is a good recommendation, but again, yeah, our limitation.
Well, let's do this. Let's put this petition over for a couple of weeks. Hopefully, of course, school's going to be out in a couple of weeks. So
yeah,
I can. We can also refer it to Eaton County if that is indeed where she's going to be staying. I can make the referral to the attendance officer there, as well as the McKinney-Vento grant coordinator. So there's like a program specifically to help enroll homeless kids in school without birth certificates, making sure that they have what they need to be successful. So it seems like if she's going to be in that county, the people who do that in that county would be helpful for her.
And Judge, my concern is mom can't even log on to an iPhone to be present here in court today. Frankly, it would be nice to take her word for it, but considering that she hasn't had these kids in school essentially forever, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in what she says. It would be nice if she could log in and we could get some confirmation, because these kids are at the formative years where they will never catch up, which will probably continue based upon the circumstances.
all right. Well, in any event, I think putting this over for 2 weeks to make sure that she follows up and gets them enrolled, I don't have a problem with that. Let's see where we are in 2 weeks. If the mother could even just call into a hearing, our Zoom instructions allow her to just dial in by telephone, so that we can at least have some confirmation that she's moving forward and getting the help that she needs. I think a referral to that county absolutely makes a lot of sense, since we've got a social worker involved, hopefully at their shelter. Some headway is being made. But let's just bring this back in 2 weeks and see where we are then. What date is that, Shannon?
25th at 9:30.
So that'll be May 25th at 9:30.
Miss Gwynn or Miss Williams, if you could give me the name and number of that social worker, that would be nice. I'd like to just pay a cursory call to her to see that we're not being.
Yeah, I can email that to you, Ivan, or Cassandra will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I did give Mom all of the information for today's Zoom court hearing, and she did say she was going to be on. So I can also reach out to her again and see what happened today and make sure she's there in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Okay, next up, Javen Connor. Ms. McCluskey's LGAL on this one. And let's see. Ms. Williams, are we expecting anyone else in this hearing today?
I doubt it. The family has moved to Tennessee. I believe JL's report states that she did get evidence that they were enrolled in school, but yeah, I don't think they'll be attending today.
And I have that report from Ms. Richardson. I had a very recent conversation with the mother Children have been enrolled in Cleveland City schools in Tennessee. I've got a submission confirmation that she sent along with her report, given that the family has moved to Tennessee and steps are being taken to get the children registered for school there. I think the appropriate step at this point is for me to dismiss this petition. Is there any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for following up. We'll get that order entered today. And let's see, we've got a preliminary hearing on baby girl SIG. So let me see who I've got on this one. I don't see Samantha Kubjek in the waiting room. Renee Anderson and Jade Blair. Do you know if one of them is covering Ms. Tucker?
Not to my knowledge, no. I was emailing with the worker this morning, so I would expect her to be there.
Well, I'm going to let in the two remaining people that are in the waiting room, see if either of them is here on this matter.
Your Honor, can I make an odd request? Miss Anderson is actually a witness for my 1 p.m. trial. Can I talk to her for a breakout room for about 30 seconds?
Certainly.
Okay, thank you.
Before I let you go, though, Ms. Blair, what matter are you here on?
The Holmes hearing after this one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that right now, Kelly.
Thank you. I won't be long.
All right, we'll wait for that. Oh, and I do have a worker finally on the baby girl SIG. So Ms. Kubik, is it?
Yes.
Ms. Tucker just asked for a brief moment to speak with a witness in a breakout room. So as soon as she comes back, we'll move forward with the baby girl SIG matter.
Sounds good.
Yeah, she's back.
She did not join, so I'm thinking she had an issue, but I'll talk to her later.
Oh, okay. So you can get a chance to talk. Yeah, she disappeared.
Yeah, I think she left altogether instead of joining the room.
All right. Okay, this is a matter of baby girl SIG, Mr. Brown's LGAL, Ms. Tucker for the agency, Ms. Kubik on behalf of the agency. And let me see, I haven't looked at this petition yet. I don't have either parent present. Do we know if they were informed of the hearing?
So yes, they were informed of the hearing. Mom is currently in the ICU. We just found out at U of M, in a coma. And dad, I've had limited communication with him. He let me know that mom's in the hospital. But I've reached out to him multiple times to get him the Zoom link information to join the hearing, and I've never heard back from him. But he was aware of the 24-hour hearing, and neither parent participated in that. And then I reached out to them via phone, text, and phone calls, and left voicemails for both of them regarding this current hearing.
And dad is putative at this point, and they've had absolutely, as of this petition, no involvement with this child, even to name the child.
I'm looking at the petition. So it looks like substantial CPS history, child born drug positive,
Prior terminations.
So the petition is requesting permanent jurisdiction. I don't have either parent here requesting an attorney. I've generally taken the approach that if a parent doesn't show up and at least request an attorney, I don't typically appoint one to represent them. I don't think I'm required to. I know that in the past that's been done, but frankly, I don't see why we need to put attorneys into the position of having to represent someone who hasn't asked to be represented, and based on the allegations of the petition, hasn't taken even the initiative to be involved in a proceeding. I just had somebody log in under the name Mary's Tablet. Mother's name is not Mary.
Your Honor, that's for the Holmes hearing. Yeah, for the Holmes hearing.
Oh, okay. I think we do need to do notice to the father of a putative, of the obligation to establish paternity. I probably should take some minimal testimony to establish probable cause. Where is the child placed currently?
She's currently still at Henry Ford in the special care nursery.
Is there assuming the child is discharged, will she be going into a foster home?
So right now there's a licensed foster home that is willing to take placement of her once she is discharged. There is a relative in Idaho that is actively seeking placement. They've been explained that, the ICPC process takes a while, and that at this point we're asking for a termination petition, but that could change. And so if visits are granted, ICPC would not be able to happen because baby would need visits here in Michigan with mom and dad. But there is the relative that is actively being pursued in Idaho, and then the licensed foster home that baby will be placed with upon discharge.
Are any siblings placed with that home in Idaho?
So parents had a child, Darkus Bibbins, who was going to be placed out in Idaho with them. She was with a different paternal relative, and that relative was not going to adopt and then decided to adopt that child. So they dropped the relatives in Idaho dropped out of the ICPC process. So that way the child did not need to be moved again if the relative they were already staying with was willing to adopt. But now that this new child's born and the other paternal relative that adopted the other child is not able to take placement of this baby, these relatives would like placement if able.
All right, Callie, I think I do need to establish probable cause.
Sure.
Ms. Kubik, would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your full name for the record and then spell the last name.
Samantha Elizabeth Kubik, K-U-B-I-K.
Thank
Go ahead,
you.
Ms. Tucker.
Ms. Kubik, you are employed with the Department of Health and Human Services.
Yes.
Is it through that capacity that you became involved with the case of baby girl Sig, date of birth April 26, 2021?
Yes.
Okay. Is it your understanding that the putative father of that child is Brooke Bibbins, date of birth March 28, 1998?
Yes.
And is it your understanding that the mother of that child is Stacy Sig, date of birth December 10th, 1983?
Yes.
Can you tell me how baby girl Sig came to the attention of the department?
Yes, so we got notification on April 26th of 21 that mom had went to the hospital with a placental abruption. They can't say that that is caused due to drug use, but a lot of times that is what causes the placental abruption, is what the hospital told me. Mom admitted to using methamphetamine and tested positive for methamphetamines upon entering the hospital before her emergency C-section. And baby girl was born via C-section at 35 weeks, and she remains in the hospital due to substance withdrawal.
Thank you. And you had said earlier that mom is currently in the hospital as well?
Yes.
Okay, so mom, even if the court declined to take jurisdiction of the child, the mom would not be able to provide placement at this time?
Correct.
Okay. I believe that establishes probable cause, Your Honor.
I'm satisfied. I'll
Thank
make a finding of probable cause. I'm going to order the father to appear at the next hearing to establish paternity. I'm setting a pretrial for June 15th at 8:30. Trial and disposition June 22nd at 1:15. Obviously, we'll need to serve summons. And hopefully we can get dad made legal. If he doesn't step up and become legal, we'll just make a finding that the child has no legal parent, so she can be freed for adoption.
Can you repeat those dates and times, Your Honor?
Pre-trial June 15th at 8:30.
Okay.
Trial June 22nd at 1:15.
Thank you.
Trial and disposition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. And let's see, we're scheduled for adjudication in the matter of Zara and Destiny Holmes. So let me let everyone else in. I see Mary's tablet is back. Okay, so we have Ms. Tucker representing the petitioner. Mr. Hotchkiss is LGAL. And let's see, the mother, Mary Sparksman, is present.
Hey.
And the father is not. And I'm assuming he hasn't appeared and requested an attorney.
I don't believe so.
All right. And do we have service of a summons in some fashion? Okay, I see we published notice to dad. Looks like we're ready to move forward. Ms. Sparksman, I'm going to mute you. Not that I don't love the sound of children, but I want to make sure I hear everything.
Okay.
Who's your witness, Ms. Tucker?
It would be Miss Blair, Your Honor. I guess my question is, Miss McCluskey, did you get my email regarding this case?
I just did this morning.
Right.
So, and then I tried to call my client and it sounded like she kept picking up, but I couldn't hear anyone. So
Okay.
I've not been able to reach her and I don't have any details on why the agency wants to move forward. Your Honor, if you remember, this is a case where the perpetrator of the violence is not in the picture any longer. The agency had some concerns about my client's engagement in services, but my client was indicating to me, as well as some service providers, that she was engaged. So we put it off, I believe, once or twice briefly to get confirmation and to give my client a chance to engage, because the reasons the child came into care was the domestic violence and dad is not in the picture. So that's kind of where we're at. I did reach out to Ms. Tucker yesterday and she indicated that the agency still wanted to move forward, but I didn't get that email until this morning. So I have not been able to talk to my client.
You want an opportunity to do that now?
That would be great. I haven't gotten any information from the agency as to, it sounds like they're indicating they don't believe that my client is engaged or engaged enough, but it would be helpful to know some of those details, I guess.
Right. I just have the same email that Ms. McCluskey got. So Ms. Blair, are you comfortable kind of stating what some of the new concerns are? So Ms. McCluskey has an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. There is concern that there may be some developmental and cognitive issues with Destiny that came about recently. We are addressing this. There is a new investigation with this family. Previously she was working with FTBS, but which was Families Together Building Solutions. That service ended because she was not engaged enough with her worker. There are concerns for her housing, as although she has housing currently, the program she works with, which is TTI, and Faith Larner is her worker on that, has indicated there's been quite a few issues with the landlord and with Mary dropping from the program, and she has since re-engaged. But that was just recently. She has agreed to the psychological evaluation. It's not occurred yet, but it's scheduled for June 8th of this year. And Destiny just while we're moving forward, we want to just make sure that she continues to follow up on these doctor's appointments or any new issues that's arising with the children. And so far, she's not been able to prove that she can do those things on her own.
So I guess I would ask if, oh, sorry, go ahead, Your Honor.
I was going to say, Ms. McCluskey, it sounds like you're not ready to defend your client at a trial. Is that correct?
Well, I have most of the information, but that again is all kind of new to me. But that's the same thing that was indicated by the agency that, if I remember correctly, was disproven by one of the service providers. And it sounds like there are new conditions. So the conditions that brought the child into care to the attention of the agency with this petition, I don't believe do still exist, because it was predominantly the domestic violence issue. And again, that perpetrator is not in the picture. And I know the agency, I believe, has confirmed that. So we're like, this case is open and we're looking for new stuff. And it sounds like and I know my client was engaged. I think having the court take jurisdiction and order her to do services doesn't help her ability to, if it sounds like there might be transportation or scheduling issues. If she's engaged, this isn't appropriate. The agency can still service her. So yeah.
So if there are new conditions, obviously, I can't adjudicate based upon those without an amended petition.
Right.
Is it your intention to file an amended petition?
Well, this was all brought to my attention yesterday as well. Ms. Blair is not the current, she's not investigating the new concerns. So Ms. Blair, would you be able to say whether or not that a new petition or an amended petition has been discussed?
It's not been discussed at this time. I can say that.
So I guess that puts us in a difficult position for purposes of today.
Who is Catherine Sparkman?
That's Mary's adoptive mother.
All right, she just logged in. I've also got a police officer, Isaac Cleland. Is he on this matter?
I'm not sure. Let me look. I don't recall subpoenaing him.
Maybe he's in the wrong. I'm just going to let them both in.
Okay.
We'll figure out. Officer Cleland, is it?
Yes, Your Honor.
What case are you here on?
The Holmes minors.
I do see that now, that we did subpoena him.
All right, we're trying to figure out where we're going to go with this. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to do a trial.
Okay.
And I just let Ms. Catherine Sparkman in. Excuse me. So if there are new concerning allegations beyond the petition, I obviously can't adjudicate as to those until there's an amended petition filed.
Right.
Is it the agency's intention to move forward with adjudication? And one thing I can do is put this off just a little while so an amended petition can be filed, and so that we can see if mom's going to be cooperative with services moving forward. And that's the concern here. There's not an immediate need to consider removal of the child, correct?
That's correct. I would agree with that plan. I would like to talk to, again, this was all brought to my attention relatively recently. So I would like to talk to the CPS investigator that is looking at the new claims and talk to them about potentially filing an amended. I could have that discussion as soon as possible, because I don't want to keep mom waiting any longer than necessary for answers. And I certainly understand Ms. McCluskey's wanting to move this case along as well.
So Officer Cleland, I'm going to let you go. We're clearly not going to have a trial today. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
So let's, I think what I'm going to do is schedule another pretrial in 2 weeks. If there's going to be an amended petition, I want it filed no later than 2 weeks from today.
Absolutely.
That pretrial will be at 8:30 on May 25th. And we'll see where we are then. Ms. McCluskey, would you like an opportunity to speak with your client this morning?
Sure, Your Honor, that'd be great because like I said, I tried to call the new number I was just given and it sounded like someone kept picking up, but I couldn't hear anything at all.
All right. Well, I don't have anything left on the docket this morning. So what I'll do, everyone else is free to leave.
Well, Your Honor, actually, I to keep the meeting open. I'll try that number again. I was recently just given that by the caseworker, so I think it's correct. I know Ms. Sparkman does have my office number. I would just ask her to make sure if I don't get through to her within 24 hours, that she call my office number.
So Ms. Mary Sparkman, can you make sure to do that?
I actually don't have that number anymore. I don't know where it went. I can't find the paper that I think has it on there.
If you have something to write with, I can give it to you right now.
Actually, I'll just grab my phone. I'll be right back, Zara.
Or the agency has it as well.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the live stream and we'll go off the record. I'll keep the meeting open till we can make sure that you've got a way of talking to your client.
I got it.